Welcome to Discovering Legacy, a sample of the first course in the Pursuing Legacy series, the lead series of Legacy Builders Academy, where we are building legacies for a better tomorrow. And I'm Dr. PJ, principal of PJ & Co., where my personal mission is to help people become better versions of themselves. If you're wondering, I go by Dr. PJ as I earned my doctorate in human resource development from Texas A&M University, where my dissertation was focused on family career legacies and intergenerational careers. My passion for family businesses has led to the authoring of Pursuing Legacy Principles of an Influential Career and Impactful Life, which serves as the text for this series. I've also written another book, It's Me, Not You How I Survived Toxic Work Environments, as well as contributed chapters in academic books centered on career development in urban settings. In addition, I'm a public speaker, certified career coach, and vendor development and program management consultant, and truly excited to guide you on this journey in learning how to build your legacy. So, what's in store for you? Here's our agenda. First, I want to be clear on the expectations for our live class today. I'll introduce the Legacy Builders Academy and the Pursuing Legacy series. Then, with your attentiveness and participation, I'll give you a taste, just a taste, y'all, of the first course in the series through two modules in the Discovering Legacy course. You'll learn about two of the keys to legacy: defining legacy and identifying family beginnings. This will be an interactive course, and because I have exercises, we'll do those together to get you to fully understand legacy and think about the creation or maintenance of your own legacy. Then we'll end this session with an on-demand Q&A. Legacy Builders Academy is the educational space dedicated to helping people to become better versions of themselves through classes, courses, and curriculums via self directed, on demand, and facilitated trainings and workshops. Here at the Legacy Builders Academy, our goal is to provide practical life education for immediate application to build legacies for a better tomorrow. Our premier Pursuing Legacy series accomplishes that through three courses: the starter course, Discovering Legacy, which you're getting just a taste of today, Modeling Legacy, and finally, our signature course, Legacy Building. As with all of our live classes, we must set the classroom expectations to ensure that we create and maintain a safe environment to learn and share. I ask that everyone is respectful to other situations and opinions as they share and exercise patience as people reflect to share their experiences and process the information. We understand that sometimes personal or sensitive information may be shared. Therefore, it's not a place to criticize, just accept it. This is a no judgment zone and where only positive comments live. The objectives for this session is to give you a preview into Discovering Legacy, the course, through two modules focused to give you a better understanding of legacy in hopes that it will help you to set the foundation for defining your legacy. Discovering Legacy, the first of the three, contains five modules: defining legacy, identifying family beginnings, exploring career influences, discovering purpose and fulfillment, and acknowledging sense of belonging. These modules will help you to fully understand what legacy truly is by identifying its major components. Again, today, as the preview, we will go through the first two modules. This is definitely going to be an interactive experience as I have a couple of exercises we'll go through together to aid in the knowledge retention. With this course, as with all in this series, we'll pull from the text Pursuing Legacy Principles for an Influential Career and Impactful Life, which, if you have not already read, please do so as this will further and reinforce your understanding. Pursuing Legacy is available on Amazon.com. Just log in, and then you will just type in Pursuing Legacy. Look for this particular book cover, and you'll be able to purchase it as well as you can find it at Walmart.com. When you enroll in this series, which you can do from my website at drpj.online, when you enroll for the entire series, you'll receive a book as part of your enrollment. Let's kick off this session with a quote by Steve Saint. Your story is the greatest legacy that you will leave to your friends. It's the longest lasting legacy you will leave to your heirs. What a great way to open up this module. Now, if you haven't done so already, get your pen and paper or whatever your note taking device is and get it ready because class is about to start. Defining legacy is the first module, and it honestly is the first step in understanding legacy. We must define our subject. So, for us, legacy is anything, mainly intangible items or concepts, that are handed down from one generation to the next generation. There are other individuals, other organizations that may have a different legacy definition, but us as a Legacy Builders Academy, this is our definition. So, throughout this course, my primary goal is for you to think. Think about you, think about your purpose, think about your legacy. So, in every module, I'll ask you a set of questions and leave you with a challenge for you to think. This is your legacy, and you have to pull from your experiences and your being to answer those questions. I also have an exercise for you in every module to reinforce the thinking and support the understanding of what we are learning today. I told you it will be interactive, and I mean what I say. So, we've defined legacy. But now I want you to show me that you understand what it is by telling me some examples. So, what are some examples of legacy? Feel free to use the chat feature or leave it down in the comments. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Okay, I hope some of you and had a chance to respond, and so I hope something also does come to mind. If not, that's fine. Just hang tight as I will give you your first challenge. Ask this question to yourself: how will my legacy be defined? Again, that's how will my legacy be defined? Yes, take some time and think. Think about it. And hopefully, by the end of this module, you'll have an answer or at least have some start of an answer. Regardless, I told you in the beginning to grab some pen and paper, whatever your note taking device is, because you have these challenge questions that I expect for you to write down so that you can come back later with your answers, because your answers to these questions are going to lead you to planning your legacy. Now, to help you wrap your head around this concept of legacy a little bit more, let's look at some facts. Feel free to read along with me if you like. So, did you know that there are approximately 10.8 million family businesses in the United States? That may shock some of you, but when you think about the history of how this country was formed, then it's not so surprising. What I mean by that is family businesses were the foundations of our communities and towns. Children used to work for their parents or families when there wasn't a child labor law. It wasn't unusual for children to have to drop out of the school to work for their family farm or business to help keep the family afloat. As children moved into adulthood, they typically tried to stay near family. However, it wasn't until roughly about the Industrial Revolution where towns expanded into larger cities. And as time progressed, resources dispersed, people began to move in search for other employment opportunities for various reasons. So those family businesses are now 10.8 million in number, accounting for 59% of the US GDP, which is approximately $5.5 trillion, and the employers of over 58% of America's workforce. However, family business succession is only 30% to the second generation and even less to the third generation at a 10% succession rate. I'm hoping with this series we can increase that number and keep it in the family, right? Family owned, family operated with affiliates. So, learning about the family characteristics and discovering what could be learned from family histories and successes and failures is so important to career decision making and to improving that succession rate. Now, 90% of our family businesses feel that long term investment philosophies, a stronger commitment to employees and suppliers, and contributions to their communities are the three strongest elements that set them apart from non family firms. Now, let's look at some family business truth. Multi generation legacies are able to be maintained or continued because people follow in the same career path of family members. Career legacies also were maintained in the absence of the family business when those towns began to expand into larger cities and children began to see better career opportunities in other cities. In doing so, they relied on the lessons, beliefs, and value system of their families and applied them to their career decisions. What I want to communicate to you here is that family legacy, as in our definition, is intangible, meaning legacy can exist inside and outside of the family business. So when we talk about the family legacy, I want you to be aware that it can take on different roles in the business and through various careers. Now, to truly help you understand, we have our first exercise called Name That Legacy. And I'm going to show you pictures of five families, and you will name the family's legacy. Look at the pictures of all the individuals of the family, and I will even give you a brief background of the family just in case you don't recognize the family immediately, and in case you just may not be familiar with these examples, but I'm sure you will at least know the majority of them, and regardless, you will understand what legacy looks like from completing this exercise. You can always go back and after and do further research on these families. I actually encourage it because their legacies are truly phenomenal and worth modeling. So, with that being said, let's get started. Are you ready? Here's family number one. Look at the first row, and you should recognize immediately at least one familiar face, as it contains two former U.S. presidents, the 41st and the 43rd. That's right, it's the Bush family, known as the most successful political dynasty in American history. Four generations of national and state political offices and businessmen, and women, I should add, beginning as early as 1942 with Prescott Bush, which is George H.W., which was the 41st president's father, with business lineage dating back to the early 1900s with Samuel Prescott Bush, who is George H.W.'s grandfather, who was a businessman taking over presidency of a company after the retirement of Frank Rockefeller. What the Bush's family legacy shows us is diversity yet continuity. The legacy started off as business and then morphed into politics, which we know that business and politics go hand in hand. Two are US presidents, the exact same career, while others have had various roles in politics, not just holding executive offices, but also working in government and politics. I really encourage you to read more about their legacy because it's truly a prime example. Okay, let's try another one. Family number two. There are three generations represented here, with probably the most famous being the one that's in color. It's the Barrymore family with a legacy in theatrics and acting. The Barrymore family is the inspiration of a Broadway play called The Royal Family, which debuted in 1927. They acted in movies and Broadway for at least four generations in multiples. It's a lot of them, some well known and some just not so recognizable to those who are outside of that industry. The legacy was started by Herbert Blythe, who changed his name to Barrymore while living in London and moving to the United States in 1875. There's so much with these legacies, and they are prime examples. I think you're getting the hang of it now. Now, here's my family. That should be a major hint. This is one of the most influential families in music history. Three generations in the music and entertainment industry with two individuals and one group becoming inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yes, this is the infamous Jackson family. All nine children have at least one gold record. They are known as the first family of soul and the royal family of pop. Now, this family may not be as recognizable, but if you live in Texas, you definitely have heard of them. And if you've ever been in Texas and went out to eat, you've definitely experienced their legacy. This is the Papa's family of restaurateurs. There are four generations with over 80 restaurants in the United States. If you ever ate at Papado's, Papacitos, Papa's Barbecue, Papa's Steakhouse, or Papa's Seafood, or any or more, really, you have contributed to this family business. The Papa family's legacy has roots in Greece, with H.D. Papas, who left Greece for the United States in 1897. The company is privately owned, and I must say I do enjoy their food. Okay, I think you have the hang of understanding what legacy is through these examples, so let's end it with family number five. What's the name of this family? I think you know, you especially if you know that girl in like the blush dress. Well, it is she is Paris Hilton and this is the Hilton family. Their legacy started in 1919 with Conrad Hilton, the guy you see in the black and white tipping his hat. He started Hilton Hotels. Conrad's father was a Norwegian businessman who taught him the ropes that would be five generations of business men and women and socialites. I end with this legacy because Hilton Hotels is a great example of a family business that not only has existed for multiple generations, but has grown to be publicly traded and led by someone in the family who is not in the family and has expanded to multiple markets and multiple countries. The legacy has opened door for future generations to exist simply as heirs, which has set the foundation for them to add to the legacy in their own way. And the name Hilton is not just their last name, but it's an international brand. Now that we have not only defined legacy, we have seen the definition in action through real life legacies. It's time for you to think, right? Think about what you just learned and apply it to your reality. So, based on what we discussed so far, what makes up legacy? What are some of the common characteristics that you found in the legacies, those five families that we reviewed? What intrigued you about those legacies? So take some time and think about it, as this will help you to answer the challenge question, which is how will your legacy be defined, right? How will your legacy be defined? You may not have the answer right now. That's totally fine. What I want you to do is to write down this question because I want you to answer it when you have the answer. And with that, this concludes the first module. How are you feeling? I hope you are feeling like you are truly understanding legacy and it's triggering some thoughts that are prompting you to reflect about how your legacy is or how your legacy will be defined. All right, moving right along here, folks, to Module 2, Identifying Family Beginnings. So, we defined family beginnings and family patterns, right, as characteristic qualities and behaviors learned from the familiar environment and specific relationships within a family unit that continue throughout generations. That's our definition of family patterns. So I want you to begin to think about for yourself what are your family value or belief systems? And how have your family beginnings shaped who you are? Think about what is praised and rewarded in your family. What are curses and benefits related to your family? When I was growing up, there was a family in our neighborhood, and the commonality between those members was a lot of them had experience with the system, meaning that they were in and out of detention centers, the jail, as well as federal prison. So, what I really want you to understand from that particular example is that there are family patterns that are not always positive, right? There are legacies that are not always positive legacies. Then we think about the Bushes, the family that we saw, one of the families we saw earlier. And the Bushes, the majority of them went to Yale University and they married spouses who had a banking family background, right? So we're talking about social economic status here. And then the Jacksons taught music to each family member and their mom supported. So what am I saying here is look at the traditions of the family. Look at the traditions of your family. What is there an emphasis on, right? Just like the Bushes went to Yale. Is there an emphasis in your family to go to a certain college or university, to pursue a certain career, have a certain talent, be attracted to a certain type of person? That's what we're talking about. Looking at those family patterns, and definitely those in the beginning as you're growing up. What was the emphasis and what were the traditions? Now I want to show you an example of legacy, but in a different format. So let's look at this clip from the 1988 Olympic Women's 4x100 relay, and then we'll talk right after.
Alice Brown gets out very well. In fact, I think she had the fastest first leg, so she passed off to Sheila Eccles very, very well. This was a good pass. Out in boom.
And that was a critical pass. Now Sheila can run and really concentrate on Florence taking off. And Florence, much improved pass between Sheila Eccles and Florence here. Got the stick and just took off. But look at the East Germans.
Florence was behind, and the U.S. was going to be behind with the handoff. Evelyn Ashford is going, oh, please, don't let me be too far behind.
And for Evelyn, the anchor of her life.
The pass was not a work of art, but that was a wonderful straightaway.
And then this pass, Florence Griffith Joyner had regained some of what was lost. Good pass. That was a very good pass. Evelyn is a good relay runner. She just held back her hand, didn't move it, waited for the baton to be put in her hand, and then grabbed it. She didn't even try to move it around. Wherever she could get it and hold on to it, that's it. You don't waste time. And she relaxes and drives through the finish. She wanted that. Look at the look on her face.
Less than an hour after winning.
What we saw in this clip is that people each have a lane and can run individual races, but are on one team. In the beginning, each person starts from a different part of the track, but it's the same track, and each run a distance. In the example, there are different teams running in a designated lane, staggered to start at different positions. For us, the teams are families, and based on external factors, each family starts from a different position in life. But ultimately, it is how you run your leg of the race, staying in your lane, yet passing the baton to the next generation. What kind of start are you giving to the next generation? What type of handoff was given to you? And does that handoff put you in a better position, or do you have to make up some ground from a loss or mistakes of the previous generation? There's a lot to unpack here, but I'm going to leave that to you. It's time to rethink what we've learned in this module. I know I threw a lot of questions at you, but I'll leave it to you to digest those and answer the challenge question. Mentally, put your family on that racetrack and think about what your family handed off to you. Remember the value and belief systems, the traditions, the influences, the emphasis. What deficits did your family have to overcome? What was your family's starting point? Who was the patriarch or matriarch? And what did they instill that has matriculated to the present generation? And finally, how has all of this, your family beginnings, shaped you? What foundation, what values, what behaviors, characteristics molded you? I'll let you think about that as we close. All right, now it's time for me to hear from you. What questions do you have about what we covered today? I hope you're feeling like you know a little bit more about legacy. So the questions you have, feel free to jot those in the chat or the comment section. I will definitely answer those for you. Also, feel free to email me those questions at info@drpj.online. Info@drpj.online. You can also feel free to connect with me on social media at PJ_PhD, Instagram and Facebook, and just PJ PhD on LinkedIn. And as well, of course, as YouTube, you can definitely connect with me here as well. I will definitely answer the questions. Now, if there are a lot of people who have the same question, then I'll do some type of live or video to make sure that everyone benefits from those questions or that particular answer. If you should decide that you want to establish your legacy or really need some help to find your purpose, I do offer individual and group sessions. So go to my website, drpj.online, which is drpj.online, and you can set up an appointment for one session or several. I do have complimentary sessions, so preview sessions for us to learn more about each other and determine if working together will be mutually beneficial prior to scheduling the paid session. So if you're interested in me consulting you, definitely visit the website. I really appreciate you being part of the Legacy Builders Academy. Please schedule some one on one coaching time or consulting time if you're heading in the direction of trying to build or maintain your legacy. Also, remember, this was just a taste of the Discovering Legacy course. So, if you are interested in exploring the full 5 modules of this course or interested in the other 2 courses in this series, Modeling Legacy and Legacy Building, please make sure you go to my website, drpj.online/courses. There you can register for either one individually of the courses, or you can register for the whole entire series. Also, make sure you check out my YouTube show, Dr. PJ's Storyline, where I dive deep into real stories and much more. Thank you, and I hope to meet with you soon.